The final is under 2 weeks away, where the team with the most Champions League titles, by a long shot, will take on the third-ranked team. It's Ancelotti versus Klopp, it's Real Madrid versus Liverpool, and oh my, should you ever be excited for this battle. Hey everyone, I'm Adrian, welcome to my channel Rabona TV, and welcome to this in-depth preview of the 2022 UEFA Champions League final. We'll dive into the history and the strange coincidence about the last time each of these teams have lost a final, how they got here, their head-to-head records, where each team can hurt the other, a quick ad break in there, transparency here, and more. So let's get started. This is Liverpool's 10th final in the European Cup/Champions League, and as their record stands currently, they have won 6 of their past 9 finals. As you will undoubtedly remember, 2 of those losses have come in the 21st century, losing to AC Milan in 2007, the rematch of that 2005 comeback for Liverpool in Istanbul, and of course in 2018. Jordan had his flu game, and Liverpool had their Karius game, which kind of had the opposite effect. As for Real Madrid, this will be their 17th final. They have appeared in the Champions League final 16 times prior, of course, having lost just 3 of them, as they are the record holders of 13 Champions League titles, 6 ahead of AC Milan, as Real Madrid racked up the first 5 editions of the competition back when it looked vastly different to how it is today. Not that that matters, of course. Both teams have lost 3 finals, now that I mention it, and funnily enough, the last time that each team lost a final was against each other. Real Madrid beat Liverpool in 2018, their last triumph in this competition, Real Madrid's that is, and Liverpool beat Real Madrid in the 1981 final, which funnily enough was also in Paris, the same host city for this edition of the final. However, the 1981 final was played in PSG's Parc des Princes, while this season's edition will be at the Stade de France, the French national team's national stadium. At the time, the Parc des Princes was the go-to stadium in France for big national team matches, cup finals, same sort of vibes. That 1981 final was also the first time that these two historic clubs had ever faced each other, and was Liverpool's 3rd European title to Real Madrid's 6th at the time. Liverpool and Real didn't face each other again until the 2008-9 round of 16 in the Champions League, in which Liverpool smashed Real 5-0 on aggregate. But since then, they have faced each other 5 times, and Real Madrid have won 4 and drawn 1. So recent history has absolutely favored Real Madrid. And speaking of history, here comes an ad, by the way. Your search history is never in peril thanks to our sponsors for this video, the homies at Surfshark VPN. Not only do they ensure that your internet activity and history is kept private, but they look to protect your privacy while online. And they ensure nobody has A, access to any of your information, and B, can't do anything nefarious with said info. We're talking about banking info, personal details, whether you think a hot dog is a sandwich or not from your blog that you wrote years ago. The important stuff. If you travel often or you like to go and get your work done in public spaces like I do from time to time, you gotta get away from editor Adrian sometimes. That free internet is a blessing, but connecting to these public Wi-Fis will leave you exposed to anyone who wants to lift your data. All of that online shopping you've been doing, all of those random websites you've given your credit card info to, sent sensitive documents, etc., voted in online polls about whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not. That's at risk by being lifted by anyone with the know-how to do so, so protect yourself with Surfshark VPN. It works like a mask for what you're doing online, enabling you to have private browsing and buying history. And Surfshark VPN never keeps logs of your internet activity. And on top of this, if you're trying to chill and watch some shows that are either on a streaming platform that isn't available in your country, or the media library is vastly different in another country, then Surfshark can help you out big time. Turn on Surfshark VPN so you could watch Match of the Day, for example, on the BBC iPlayer, or access content libraries on Netflix and plenty of other streaming sites from around the world. And guys, Surfshark is packed with tons of features, such as over 3,200 servers in 65 countries. Go ahead, name 65 countries right now. It will take you a long time. It also has military-grade encryption, a multi-hop feature, meaning you can connect to 2 VPN servers at once, which is incredible, plus a no-logs policy where none of your data is collected by Surfshark, as we said. All of those features and more in the name of 1, keeping you and your data safe and secure on the internet, and 2, helping you access the entirety of the internet without any geo-locks or blocks. Ain't nobody keeping you out. So fellas, use the link in the description and use code RABONATV, all one word, to get Surfshark VPN at 83% off, plus 3 extra months for free, I tell you. And with a 30-day money-back guarantee, it really is no risk, man. These are low-stake commitments. Thank you, Surfshark VPN, and stay safe out there on the internet, ladies and fellas. Real and Liverpool had similar group stage performances, as Liverpool had a perfect 6 wins from 6 in their group against AC Milan, Atletico Madrid, and FC Porto, while Real Madrid lost just 1 match in their group, that being against Sheriff of all teams in their Santiago Bernabeu homecoming. What a match. I'll never forget that winner from Till. From there, they have had to face vastly different opponents in the knockout stages. Let's go through that now. For their part, Liverpool had to first go through Inter, in which a 2-0 win at San Siro was enough for them to hang on in the second leg, where they actually lost for the first time in ages at Anfield, thanks to a Lautaro Martinez wonder goal. 2-1 on aggregate for Liverpool, and moments that absolutely would have scared Liverpool supporters, while Inter supporters look to Alexis Sanchez's red card and find themselves asking, what if, you know? Whilst Liverpool bested Inter, Real Madrid were struggling against PSG. They put in probably their worst performance of the entire competition away to PSG, where Pochettino's side controlled every aspect of the game, and Mbappe made Real Madrid's right side look as useful as a Cheeto as a deadbolt. That continued in the second leg at the Bernabeu, as Real Madrid offered a match and a half of uselessness before Luka Modric and Karim Benzema decided to game-end PSG. A hat-trick for the Frenchman, and if he had never scored again for Real Madrid from that point onward this season, the ink on this incredible season had already been written and had dried. But he continued to light it up in the next round, going away to Stamford Bridge, a first half brace from Karim Benzema with 2 fantastic finishes. I mean, that header was as satisfying as a fadeaway 3-pointer, man. Clearly built up enough goodwill with the football gods to plant some bedlam in the brains of Edouard Mendy and Antonio Rudiger, gifting Benzema a hat-trick in a 3-1 away victory. Huge. However, as is the custom with Real Madrid this season, they haven't really played a perfect 2-legged tie, and they get themselves into trouble from time to time, only to dig their way out thanks to some of the geniuses that they possess in their squad. One of those being Luka Modric and his outside of the boot assist to Rodrigo to negate what was a 4-3 lead on aggregate to Chelsea and force extra time, where who else but Karim Benzema would kill off the defending champions with a header in the 96th minute. God, Chelsea supporters must get ill when they see him. 4 goals against them in 2 matches. PSG and Chelsea dealt with eventually, at least, by Real. For Liverpool, they went to take on Benfica, where they beat them handily in Lisboa, rotated their squad a bit in the second leg, and if it wasn't for a massive save by Alisson on Darwin Núñez late, it would have made for a very, very anxious end to the match, as my boys were starting to get into the tie, but the expected outcome was secured in the end, despite the scares. 6-4 on aggregate for Liverpool, as they moved on to take on Lord Emery. After a 2-0 win at Anfield in a match where Liverpool probably should have won by more, they were shocked by the atmosphere and the massive changes in approach from Villarreal in the first half of the second leg. But after a rollicking from Klopp at halftime, no doubt, Liverpool managed to turn the game on its head and take it from 2-2 on aggregate to 5-2 on aggregate. And again, the expected outcome in order to book their place in the finals once again. As for Real Madrid, well, another Champions League round and another round filled with ridiculous drama. Real fought to a 4-3 loss away to Manchester City, and when you leave Real Madrid with a chance, when you leave this Real Madrid with a chance, you may live to regret it. And despite Mahrez putting City 5-3 up at the Bernabeu in the 73rd minute, there's still always a chance, isn't there? 2 goals down on aggregate in the 89th minute, and Rodrigo flicked a Benzema pass past Ederson. 1 minute later, an Asensio cross is headed in by Rodrigo. 5-5 from 5-3 down to level on aggregate, and of course Benzema converted a penalty in extra time to win it for Real Madrid and put the finishing touch on yet another night of magic at the Santiago Bernabeu for the Real Madrid supporters. Those second legs at the Bernabeu did really treat them right, didn't they? Comebacks against PSG, Chelsea, and Manchester City. What a run of games to book your finals ticket. When looking at the semifinals matchups, this was the final that I was hoping for as a neutral, and for a couple of reasons. The main one being that I don't really enjoy finals that consist of two teams from the same country. It's kind of boring, kind of defeats the purpose of this whole competition in a sense. And two, because Real Madrid had been the most entertaining team in this edition of the competition, while Liverpool matches aren't usually a bore either, given their attacking talent. There's a bit of a different approach in philosophies, as Real Madrid aren't press heads like Liverpool, but they are gifted in attacking talent themselves, and they absolutely know their way around this competition. I did a video recently on why they continue to keep winning across all competitions really, and a lot of it comes down to Ancelotti's approach and how he guides this group of winners and allows them to have a say in things, such as what he did in extra time in consulting Marcelo and Cruz for who to substitute. And on top of that, the ridiculous form in some of all-time greats such as Karim Benzema and Modric, with proven winners like Alaba, Casemiro, Cruz, Carvajal, etc. They've already won the league, and Ancelotti is a serial winner of this tournament. Of the 4 finals he's played in already, he's lost just once, to Liverpool, interestingly enough. But it's not as if Liverpool don't have winners in their side either. They've won the Champions League as recently as 2019 and are in their 3rd final since 2018. And they too have won a couple of trophies already this season. Neither side have anyone that is suspended for the final, with injuries being the only thing that could hold either side back from having their full powers available to them prior to the final. For Liverpool, Salah, Van Dijk and Fabinho are looking like they all will be fit again for the final, while Alaba has already returned to full training for Real Madrid and looks like he'll be available as well. Fabinho's health, should he make it, as I don't know whether he will or he won't in this moment, will be paramount to Liverpool's success. Remember how poor Real Madrid looked without Casemiro in the heart of their midfield against Manchester City in that first leg? A Liverpool side without Fabinho would be a similarly massive loss, as he has been one of the unsung heroes of this campaign for Liverpool. The cover and control that he provides cannot be understated, again, similarly to Casemiro and Real Madrid's midfield. On top of that, both midfielders, both Brazilian midfielders, are great with their distribution as well. Going forward, both sides boast incredible attacks. I would guess that Klopp will start Luis Diaz on the left, Mane through the middle, and Salah on the right. And while I think Mendy has the pace to go stride for stride with Salah and the defensive ability to be able to cope with him, I do worry somewhat about Real Madrid's right side of defense and how they will deal with Luis Diaz if he should start. They struggled in the first leg against City, and the way Mbappe torched Carvajal and Militão over and over again would have me worried if I'm a Real Madrid supporter. Similarly, I would be worried about Liverpool's right side if I am a Liverpool supporter. No doubt Real Madrid will start Benzema and Vinicius in the attack. That's a lock. And I'm about 80% confident Rodrigo will get the nod on the right, unless Ancelotti wants to utilize his explosiveness off of the bench in the latter stages of the match. But regardless, Vinicius has been a bona fide nightmare for right backs and right-sided center backs all season long. Will it be Konate, who has shown some frailties at times, or will it be Matip? With the pace that he possesses, Alexander-Arnold will have to be incredibly disciplined to not push too far up the pitch, as he and Robertson did in the second leg against Villarreal, where they hung back just a bit more than usual. And he must do so because Real Madrid's transition can be lightning quick thanks to their talented midfielders, and Vinicius almost always stays pushed way up the pitch as the main outball, as one of the central midfielders will drift wide to help defend on his side of the pitch so he can stay forward as the outlet. On top of this, Ferland Mendy doesn't rove as high as other fullbacks would. Carvajal, however, does indeed get forward to provide service into the box for Benzema to attack, so like Alexander-Arnold, he'll need to stay disciplined. Otherwise, Diaz is going to have some fun out there. The midfield battle will be fascinating, won't it? Thiago likely, Fabinho, and of late, Naby Keita in there for Liverpool. Well, you could have guessed Real Madrid's lineup in the midfield 2 years ago. The only question being whether Ancelotti will start Valverde over Rodrigo, hear me out here, so that Real Madrid can collapse into a 4-4-2 when they are defending. Speaking of defending, I think Liverpool's back line, when fully fit, edges it for me, but they haven't been as airtight this season as in previous seasons. I said this after the first leg against Benfica, and I caught some shit for it from Liverpool supporters, but I think I've been vindicated in some respects here, because I did highlight that while they aren't necessarily as airtight, they aren't conceding many goals still, thanks to Alisson. An attack like Real Madrid's can absolutely test that theory, just as Liverpool's attack is capable of scoring just as many against a Real Madrid backline that conceded 3 goals in a single match against 2 of Liverpool's Premier League rivals, Man City and Chelsea. It really is a tough one to call. I don't think you can understate just how integral it was that Real Madrid had the second leg at home in each of their knockout round wins, able to turn things around in the second half at home with the crowd behind them. That said, they certainly played against tougher opposition in the knockout rounds of the competition than Liverpool did, at least in the quarters and semis. I'm a Benfiquista, and even I'll admit that. Yes, we gave them a rough go at Anfield, but Chelsea would have given them an even tougher time, as the two finals that Liverpool played against Chelsea recently have shown. So you have this Real Madrid side that find themselves in tough situations time and time again, but manage to escape them thanks to a second leg of absolute magic at the Bernabeu, or a second half even, versus a Liverpool team that isn't looking as convincing as they have at other points in the season. They still look good, of course, don't get it twisted, just not as good. This one is a coin flip for me, all told, and it should be a brilliant final. As for my pick, I mean, I wish I didn't have to make one, but if you held my cat hostage and told me to make a choice, I would say Liverpool to take it, but it wouldn't be that confident of a guess, as images of Benzema, Modric, and Vinicius celebrating goals or even with the trophy would run through my head. Anyways, guys, that's it for this in-depth look at the final, and if you appreciated this, then be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and hey, if you don't have anyone to watch the final with, then come through for a watch along so you can take it in with myself and hundreds of members of our community here. It's always a blast, but beyond that, I'm Adrian, this is Rabona TV. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Ciao.